go all the way, otherwise don't even start. And there's another thing that if you cannot fly, you run. If you cannot run, you walk. And if you cannot walk, you crawl. But you must keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So these are some of the mantras that I follow for my life. First, believe that it will happen. Visualize that it is going to happen. See the end goal of it, because that is what will inspire you when you are stuck on your way. Then find that pathway to your end goal. Then start walking it. Don't look back. There will be challenges, there will be animals, you will be hunted, whatever it takes happen. Keep walking, keep walking, keep walking, and you will be there. And when you will be there, everyone will start believing in you. And then people will follow.
Hey everyone, this is Shruti. Welcome to my podcast, I'm Just Curious, where I talk of all things I'm curious about with the people I'm curious about and how they turn their passion into their profession. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to one of India's only youngest founder of space architecture studio in Canada and Asia. Her name is Aastha, and yeah, I'm super excited to have her on my podcast. So, hi Aastha, how are you?
Hi Shruti, I'm very well, thank you.
So how have you been? Like you've been in India, and how have you been since?
Yeah, I think I'm enjoying my time over here because
You are?
Yes, I am enjoying, because especially the food is so amazing in India. My all friends and family are still here.
Okay.
So I think it's a good change, and I can focus more on work, because when I
Okay.
was in Canada, I was also working full-time job.
Yeah.
So here I have all the privilege to spend my time however I want, and also focus on my extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going well.
Great. Sounds good. Let's start from the beginning. You've done your schooling and everything from here in Ahmedabad.
Yes, I was
Yeah.
here until I was 18.
Okay. What's like you were always curious about space since you were a child, or it just happened something?
Yes. Oh, that's a very good question, because I'm so excited to share this story. So when I was 13 years old, I went to this NASA Space Academy in Huntsville, Alabama Center in US.
Okay.
And that was my first trip abroad. So I was even more excited.
Okay.
And even more than that, I was so excited because I will have all that space from my parents, the privacy away from my parents for a whole, sometimes for
Yeah.
some few days.
Yeah.
So at that NASA Academy, we were given a lot of challenging tasks. But one of the very interesting tasks was to design something on the lunar base, on the moon base.
Okay.
And I, along with my team, we decided to design a gas station, thinking that we might run out of the fuel while coming back to the Earth. In that moment, our little brain could only think of such things. And guess what? We got an award for that. So in that moment, I got vitalized to pursue architecture. But then I was like, how do I differentiate myself from other architects? So maybe I will call myself a space architect. But there was no profession like that at that time.
Yeah.
Over the years, I was always looking for space architecture, how I can design on Moon, how can I design on Mars, how can I design in suborbital, orbital, habitable volume structures. So then after my completion of my bachelor's education from Denmark at VI University, I was looking again for opportunities. And I came across this University of Siska.
Okay.
They had this course, but it was very expensive. It was around, I don't want to go into that pricing, but I did not wanted to ask my dad to help me for my further education, because he has already spent some amount on my bachelor's. So then I decided to study all of that subjects by myself. I did a lot of self-education on aerospace engineering, space structural systems, system engineering, and a lot more. And following that, I was looking for opportunities to get some work experience. And I was not getting that because I was not a US citizen, number one. Number two, I was not holding a PhD degree into that career yet. So then I was like, okay, what do I do? So I started participating in international conferences. And I presented my first project, Mangala, which was a Martian habitat at International Conference on Environmental Space Systems. And my project was judged by astronaut Daniel Burbank,
Okay.
who has been to space 2 times. And he pushed me a lot that you should go for this career, you are so good at it. Again, not having this enough opportunities, I founded my own space studio, Arca Space Architecture.
Yeah. That's lovely. I mean, there's so much that you just said that I want to talk about.
Yes.
Because let's just rewind a little before going back to the US and everything. So you were here and you wanted to do space architecture. That was clear.
Yes.
Or that just like gradually or something happened. But you've studied bachelor's in architectural design and like construction management.
Yes.
And you've had a bachelor's in that, and then you so talk to me about that. Like, how was that experience like?
Yes, I believe that before designing for space, we have to first understand how we will build on this earth.
Yeah.
So that is why that was the most closest subject that I could take. So I went to study architectural technology, where I did not just study about designing, but also I wanted to understand technicality behind designing. For example, structural, we had structural engineering subjects, we had mechanical engineering, we had HVAC systems, and also not just designing, but it is so important to also execute the project.
Yeah.
So then I went to study construction project management, where I was studying about project scheduling, project costing, and so and so. But I think the most amazing experience was to study these courses from different countries, because that was more exciting to me. I did my first year in UK, then I got scholarship, Erasmus exchange scholarship from European Union.
Yeah.
And then I did my second year in Denmark.
Yeah.
And then I went for an internship in Africa and Uganda, Kampala.
Yeah.
And then I again went back to Denmark. And then I came to Canada to study that course. So I think education is very important, but experiences through that is something that makes most of it.
Interesting. You said that, you wanted to like go to a country where, like you wanted to be independent and everything.
Yes.
So why, like you did not like feel independent here? Like,
no, not at all. I can never feel independent here.
Everyone is there to do things for you.
Not just that, but like here I'm so dependent on my parents. If I want to go out, my dad will be like, he will call me at 9, when are you coming home? Like you always have your parents' two eyes on you. And I don't know how, but in India, wherever I go, like whichever gully, you call that street and call that gully, whichever gully I go, whoever I meet, my dad always knows.
Yeah.
I don't know how, but he always knows. It is so hard to even lie. And especially Ahmedabad is so small, like everybody knows everyone. And I think I have a lot of privileges here, and when we have the privileges, we are in a comfort zone.
Yeah.
When we're in a comfort zone, we don't know how much capable we are
Yeah.
and what we can push ourselves for. And I think we are all so capable individuals. There's so much to do. So you do that when you are out of your comfort zone.
That is so true. I completely agree with that.
Yes.
Because the same is with my dad. Like when I'm here at home, like he's like, I'll do this. Like I'm so grown up now. Like and still he's like, let me, like if I'm eating in my room and there's a plate, if he's going downstairs, he will take it. I'm like, no, I will take it. You don't, like, don't do that.
Yes.
It's just like the small things, like he just, parents never want to, like for them, you're always children and they always want to do things for you and everything.
And you never grow up for your parents.
Yeah, exactly.
You always remain little ones.
Yeah. They want to do everything for you, like, So I completely agree, because when I also like went for like a program, like a summer program, he's like, why do you have to go? Why, like you can find everything here and everything.
Yes, my dad bribed me a lot when I was planning to go to UK. He was like, I'll get you the best car.
Yeah.
You go to your office, I'll get you your own office, I'll get you this, I'll get you that. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I want to be on myself.
But talk to me about, like, you're just 25, 24.
Yes.
Right? Where does that mindset come from?
Challenges
according to you?
in life.
What kind of challenges?
So I had a lot of challenges in my life. Like when I was in school, we had some home problems. And I don't know how, but I always had this thing that if I don't have a thing, I always think that one day I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
And I was bullied a lot because I would laugh at every other joke in my school, and my English was not so good. So my classmates will make fun of me all the time.
Okay.
And when anyone makes fun of me, in my mind I'm like, you're gonna see one day I'm gonna be something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna become someone.
Yeah.
Because life is all about thriving. Like you have to thrive. It is so interesting. We are in such a fascinating world. Because you see, I don't have this mentality that you get up, you eat food, you go to bed, you hang out with friends. No, there is like, we have
life.
196 countries in the world. We have like more than 1,000 different sports branches. We have so many educational platforms. Why would you not want to expand your brain, expand your experiences, expand that brighter wisdom? Like, why not?
Yeah.
And I think it is, if we don't have opportunities, it's all about creating opportunities. I'll tell you something. When I was in Denmark, even though I'm so privileged over here, I was still doing a cleaning job at a burger restaurant. I would go to a burger restaurant to do cleaning at 11 o'clock at night. So it's just about going through every day with what you can do.
Yeah.
And I'm always a very optimistic person.
I can see that.
Towards life.
Yeah.
So yeah, that made me keep on going. And then I had more challenges when I went abroad. Sometimes you end up having some wrong relationship. Sometimes you end up having some family things you have here and there. And then you just become mature of your own. You become your own dad, mom, and everything. And then you have this. You start guiding yourself, and then you create the pathway for yourself, and then you just walk on that. And then that's where I am right now. It's just that.
I'm so moved by everything that you're saying right now, because I see a little bit of how I was when I was, your age, like the kind of mindset, the kind of, I come from Gandhidham, like if you feel like here everybody knows everybody, there you can imagine, like,
everybody knows everybody's name.
Yeah, like, if you walk on the street, everybody knows, like kind of like that. So, like, growing up in that kind of protected environment and having like a global mindset. There's this friend of mine, who lives in UK, and she, whenever I talk with her, I always talk about these things, like, that life is about having experiences.
Yes.
You're here to have experiences. The systems that we have put in place, like the social systems of family, this, that, all the systems, they're good, but we're forgetting, like, we're here to experience it. And when I talk, I talk about it like you just did, like, why, like, the same perspective that there are 196 countries in the world, and I just look at it that we are in a blue planet that revolves around like a fireball. What are the chances that we are here?
Yes.
So, and then she told me that coming from the place where you come from, your mindset is global, which is, and I see that in you also. So, like, what like, were you like this since childhood, or like you started reading or something, or just your mindset was always like that?
No, I was as a child I was always fond of traveling.
Okay.
I just loved traveling. So if somebody tells me that 3 a.m. let's go Singapore, I'm like, yes, let's go.
Okay.
So that is why I was always about going abroad. And then I attended this Vipassana meditation.
Okay.
And in that you are alone for 10 days. Like they take away your phone, because there's so many people are distracted in social media. And let me tell you, social media is just, it's not true what you see. Like, reality of everybody is very different.
100%.
And it is so distracting. Like, if somebody has something, then you are like, oh, why don't I have that? So I was just 19 years old when I attended this Vipassana. I was meditating since I was 5.
Wait, you were 90, you were
19.
attending it since you were 5?
No, I have been meditating since I was 5 years old.
You've been meditating since you were 5?
Yes. Because I had a teacher from Bhutan, and he taught me meditation.
Okay. How did you meet him?
So in our school.
Okay.
So we had something like an extracurricular, and he was a monk, like he became a monk. He was not wearing that monk clothes, but he was almost like a monk. He never got married yet, I think. So he will take every student and he will teach us this yellow light meditation.
Okay.
And so I was always doing that. So I was always spiritual. I was always about evolving, exploring. And I went to this Vipassana because I thought, okay, let me try something very different. And in that 10 days, for the first 3 days, you become very aggressive. You start thinking all the bad things that have happened to you in your life. Like, 4th, 5th day, you are like, you want to get out and kill everyone who has disturbed your life ever.
Really?
Yes. By 7th day, you start thinking, okay, what you can do more in your life. Like, okay, forget, you start forgiving everything.
For 6 days, you want to kill everyone?
Yes.
7th day,
you are like, okay, now what should I do?
Yeah.
Because you cannot even communicate to anyone, you cannot draw, you cannot do exercise, you cannot do anything.
What do you do?
You do meditation for 8 to 9 hours a day. And you focus on your breathing for 8 to 9 hours. So I went there to learn patience because I'm kind of impatient and I'm kind of super hyperactive. So I wanted to calm down myself. And then on the 10th day, you feel like you are in euphoria because you are so much in love with yourself that you survived those 10 days without any external support. You survived your own thoughts. You came to know more about yourself inside. And in that 10 days, I came to know that whatever love that we are seeking in the outside world, it's not in the outside, it's inside. Whatever knowledge you are seeking outside is nowhere else, it's all inside. So that power, before that I was finding in others, in situations, but I believe that that power is inside of you. So that power is your capability. So when you have the stick, the light stick in your hands about your life, why not make it the most glowy? Why not shine it bright? Why not be the sun of your life? And that's when I came to know, okay, I like fitness. I'll go to gym every morning. Oh, I like traveling. I'll travel every country. I like space architecture. I like social services. I know whatever I like.
Yeah.
And then I just started doing all of those things.
Wow.
And I'll tell you something. So whatever we have in our mind, you definitely attract that. No, I'm not telling from the book Secret. I'm telling from my own experience, because when I was thinking about space architecture, there was nothing like that. But then now there is a profession for space architecture. There is a course for space architecture. I am launching my own course. I became an award-winning space architect. So whatever you're dreaming, whatever you're thinking in your consciousness, it is going to turn out. You're going to attract that. So my advice or whatever to all of our generation.
We'll get there.
Okay, I'll hold on to that.
Yeah. So it's,
yes.
I'm fascinated, like, you know, so it just tells so much that you're so spiritual and you're so calm. I feel it also somewhere comes from, as you mentioned, you know, when you were young, you had a lot of some home problems or something. I think unconsciously, even if you're not aware, but that's how something you seek as a person, you know, and I'm glad, you know, at such a young age, because I think so many people have gone through things in their childhood or, you know, something, but not everybody seeks a path which is, or seeks a, you know, to recognizes it, becomes self-aware and does something positive and, you know, like knows that this is the solution. Like, I don't think I would have ever, you know, like when I was like that young, I don't think I had that level of self-awareness. I don't think so. There was, but not the kind you have. And so is that like, I think it's all interconnected for you, that spiritual side and space, you know, being in space and everything. Because you as a person, I don't think you dream small. You
no,
can't.
I cannot.
You can't, I don't think somebody can tell you ki normal, you know, do like a normal architecture degree and, you know, build buildings. Considering you are, your mind will go like to the farthest of the places and in a good way.
But you have to do, still have to do those terrestrial architecture to make some
living. Of course. Oh, okay.
To make some money.
Okay.
And then invest in space. That's what I'm doing right now.
Lovely. Talk to me about, like, you did the degree and everything, but you've done like so many small programs also.
Yes.
Like, you know, even in UK, you were at the Leeds University, and then you took up like one more program which was like sustainable design.
Zero energy design.
Zero energy design. Yeah, yes. Right? Am I correct? Talk to me about that. I found very interesting. Like, talk to me about that.
So along with space architecture, I was always interested in how we can make this earth a better place, because I feel like we should always give back, not just consume. And so I was checking into affordable housing, and I'm a very big advocate for climate change. Like, it's so important. So I attended this course, Zero Energy Design. It is all about how you can reduce the pollution during the construction phases and after the building is being constructed. Here you see in Ahmedabad, it's all concrete construction.
Yeah.
If you are passing by a bridge, you see all grey. Like, there's a sky is grey and there's the air is grey. There is no clear.
Yeah. Like, there's no blue sky.
There is no blue sky.
There's no blue sky.
So that is all the pollution every building excretes carbon dioxide when it is being constructed. So zero energy design is like you do pre-manufacturing, prefabrication. Then
what is prefabrication and pre-manufacturing?
So, okay, I'll tell you. So in India, what happens is you construct the walls, you construct the slabs, floors, everything on the site. Whereas in abroad now, it's very common that you construct the walls, floors, slabs, everything is being done in a factory, in a closed environment, so there is no pollution, and then you bring it to the site and it's just being cast in situ. So you kind of reduce a lot of pollution in that case. Then also recycling. We don't have recycling systems here. Like, you see the building, whatever the water is being wasted out, it is just going into the river. There is no recycling of it. So recycling is also zero energy design. Then designing in such a way, like in abroad we have this cold climate. So designing in such a way where there is a natural excess of the wind, natural excess of the sunlight. So you save on your lighting, save on your heating. So you save energy. So basically you reduce every part of the building which is possible, and then you come to zero energy design. It's like a sustainable design. And now I think a lot of countries are adopting that thing, and it's very important.
Yeah, yeah. Great. I mean, like this is something that everyone needs to know and needs to do. But I think you did at a time. You must have been what, like around 22 when you must have done that course.
22.
I mean, having awareness about that at that time is also something, because some people who are like 60, 70, they are giving interviews and saying that climate change is a hoax. so you having that awareness at 22, I mean, that's like, I think if we have more people like you, we are in safe, good hands, in terms of climate. Like if we have more people like, And I want to now talk about, like, you did the zero gravity and then you went Denmark, I think, to the VIA.
Yes.
Yeah, then you did your bachelor's. Okay. Yes. Then you went to MIT. It was during the lockdown or?
Yes, it was during the lockdown. I did this online course.
Okay.
So I have a lot of people say that I feel like 24 hours is less for me. I definitely feel that, because I don't want to waste my time at all.
Looking at you, I agree.
Sometimes it's okay, like, especially I'm feeling that since I came to Ahmedabad a lot everywhere.
Yeah.
But so when I was in Canada, we had this lockdown, so we were working from home. So I was saving my transportation time, and we were hanging out with friends. So I was like, what to do?
Yeah.
So then I started with this MIT online course on space system engineering. It was all about space architecture, integration with spacecraft designing. So I was not fully aware of how we design the interior of an aircraft, what needs to go, what happens in spacecraft, what kind of life system supports we need to have, what is the engineering behind that, how much oxygen recycling we need. Because when you go to space, even when every drop of your sweat is also being recycled. Like, there is no waste at all. So there is so much of calculations into that. So I was like, let me start doing this, I have time. So that is how I did that course. It was a self-paced course.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. I'm kind of amused in a not like that, but like at your age, like if somebody had time, they would Netflix. They would watch Netflix. I know. Like so many people. The kind of mindset you have. I'm saying this again and again, that the kind of mindset you have is so intriguing. And the fact that you mentioned that you don't like to waste your time, and today you're here speaking to me, that like, I really am grateful to you for that you considered me worthy of your time. So that's a good thing.
No. This is, I enjoy, because you are spreading a positivity, right? You are spreading some knowledge. You are not gossiping.
Yeah.
So that is.
We are hoping that if somebody sees this and they have like an unusual dream, it helps. Yeah. Talk to me about that. That was the first time, because when you started architecture, you always wanted to be a space architect, right? And because no program or a course like that was available, that's why you did like normal architecture, construction management and everything. But when you finally could do this,
space architecture.
When you finally could do a program like that, did it feel like, like how did it feel to you? Like, did you feel like one step closer to your dream?
I'm a very emotional person. I was crying all the time I was studying that course. I was like, oh my God, this is what I wanted. Like,
wow.
And then every module I will pass, I'm like, just look at it.
I'm doing this.
Just look at it. Like, no, that moment is like, it's just, because the thing is, when you do what you love, people don't know what they love. So I don't know, many people tell me this thing. How do you know what you love? But I just know what I love. And then you are not working, you are not studying, you are just going through that process, and it's so much fun. When I was studying space architecture, it was a lot of challenge for me, because I studied commerce in my higher
education.
Yes.
In 11th and 12th.
I had business studies, economics.
Okay.
Though I was a state topper, I scored 98, 96,
no
74. But yes, I took those subjects. And then space architecture. And then even when I was studying architecture, I did not have too much of maths or I had maths, but it was all basic level maths. But then when I went into space architecture, it was all science based. It was all about physics, chemistry, planetary science, earth sciences, how this spacecraft's designing work, and so much of complex mathematics. And that's when I was like, there were times when I was just about to give up, because I was not enjoying that part, though I was enjoying designing for space, but I was not enjoying the technicality for the space architecture. And I was kind of self-studying these things. So I was like, how do I now study all these maths that I've missed all these years? So then I also took, like, for particular modules, I took personal coaching like a tutor. I got a tutor and I learned. So it was a lot of challenging learning process, and I was about to give up at many times. But I think there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
So I kept walking.
Great. So you talked about, like, you know, you did not know how to do physics, and, you know, maths was tough and everything. And why was it so important for you to, you know, figure out like what the inside of a spacecraft is and everything? The bigger goal is what for you in this?
Okay. Yeah, so that's a very good question. You're very sweet.
Thank you.
So innovation is very important. You cannot have an innovation until you don't go to the roots of every subject.
Yeah.
So to understand that, that is why I was going through every subject in detail, going to the roots of it. Because it falls a very great responsibility on myself when I'm doing into space architecture. Basically, the primary goal of a space architect is to design a safety environment which can keep the crew safe when they are outside of the Earth's atmosphere.
Okay.
And if that is a total failure, the whole mission fails. And it costs millions of dollars to go to space and come back. So it's no joke. Also, the crew's families are also dependent on this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And people tell this that going to Mars is a far thing. No, that's not a too far thing, because we have landed 11 times already on the lunar base, on the moon base. So we are going to moon again in 2025 by Artemis mission by NASA. NASA is launching this mission. And SpaceX has already built up a ship that can go to Mars, land and also come back. SN-15 Starship, which is a successful latest prototype. So for me, it's very important to understand how the interior we can design for SN-15 Starship. How do we do that? Because right now they don't have any interior design planned as such. So there will be different companies in future who will be participating according to the mission requirements. There will be different kinds of interior design. What kind of crew systems we need to have, how will be the crew quarters, living quarters, how will be the kitchen, toilet, everything. And when we design for space, it's a little bit different because there is reduced gravity. I wouldn't go too much into that, otherwise everyone will start sleeping here.
No. We would love to if you can, you know, go a little in depth.
So there is a lot of engineering required as well, and everything is dependent on everything. There is no backup once you are out of the Earth's atmosphere. Either there is a life or there is death.
Yeah.
So when there are so many researches for example, I'll give an example. International Space Station, that is an existing structure and revolving around the Earth.
Yeah.
It is also a space architectural project. Let's keep it that way.
Okay.
It is a orbital project. Okay, low Earth orbit project. Now there has been around 3,000 science experiments already being conducted. Every experiment is very expensive because it goes through the space. Now when a rocket is being launched, there is only a certain amount of weight it can hold. There is a limitation to the payload that you can launch. And the more the payload, the more expensive it gets.
Okay.
So, and it takes a lot to send an experiment to space. It takes years and years of research, at least 5 years of research to send something to space to be tested in space. So all of that, the lives of the astronauts, the working of the systems, everything is dependent on that structure. And that structure is space architecture. How can you not go into the veins and blood cells of your research? You need to scrap out everything. And that is why I was very much keen to learn everything.
When you just talked about something that the systems and everything.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that a little? Like, say for example, you said that those are living quarters, and also what I want to ask you is that how much time are we looking? Like when you design a space, okay, what is the time that you're keeping in mind that for this time they are going in space, so they're not coming back anytime soon? So talk to me about that.
So when anyone goes to low Earth orbit, it takes around 6 hours to go from Earth to any low Earth orbit structure. And they will probably stay there for 3 months to 6 months to a year. This is the time frame.
Okay.
But when we will go to the moon, this time we are going to stay for a longer period of time.
Okay.
And that is why we are finding technologies that can stay there and help us to build the infrastructure.
Okay.
Because we cannot export everything from the Earth. It's very costly. It will be billions of dollars. It's not sustainable as well.
Yeah.
So we are now checking into 3D printing. So there is a thing called ISRU, in situ resource utilization. That means you are going to excavate the soil over there. You are going to generate into a concrete, lunar concrete, regolith, and then you are going to construct something out of that. You will not believe this, but there are already companies who are doing this thing. There is a company called Big Architects, BIG. It's a Danish firm, one of my favorite. There's an Icon who also recently won the NASA contract. So they're already doing this 3D printing for space.
Okay. For NASA?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
There's also the same thing we're also going to do for the Mars. And we are at my firm, at ACA, we are also, one of my team members, we are also doing the research for 3D printing for space. And one of our current project, we are also going to test our 3D printing. Not for the space soil, but to manufacture 3D printed parts in space in one of our projects.
Okay, like taking the machinery there and print it there.
So I'll tell you something. So at ACA we have a project called NOVA, Next Generation Origami Structure, Analog Habitat. Next Generation Next Generation Origami Analog Habitat. Yes. And that is a prototype of our research. So we did a very intensive research on what kind of house we would have if we are landing on the Mars, what we will need, what kind of living systems we will need. We will need hydroponics, we will need aeroponics, then what kind of lab we will need and everything. So we cannot build that big project because it will cost us a lot of money, at least 10 crore. And I don't have that, let me tell you. But that doesn't stop me to achieve my goal. So we are building a smaller prototype and we are going to start the construction next year of it. And before that, I'm also building an exhibition model. We are looking right now at Vibrant Gujarat, and also we have some international locations for our exhibition. So once we build the prototype of that, we are going to test our design into extreme environment in Arctic. So we are going to go to Canada at Devon Island, which is very closer to the North Pole, and we are going to conduct a 3 months of expedition. It's like a testing of our design. And you will not believe this, but I'm going to stay inside of that because I've also been taking astronaut training on the side. So I'll be staying inside my habitat and we will be performing a lot of experiments. We will be performing a lot of different...
What kind of experiments are these?
Yes.
The temperature, what kind of experiments?
First of all, deploying the structure in reduced gravity. So we will be deploying the structure in Earth's gravity, but then how long will it take for us to deploy in Mars gravity? That's another question.
Yeah.
How much of human load does it take to do that? That's one of the experiment. Then we have extra vehicular activity experiments, EVAs. That is something where we go take the soil sample testing and then we study the soil. And at the Devon Island, it has exactly Mars-like soil. You would not believe, but
in North Pole? On that island?
Devon Island, yes. It has exactly Mars biology, so geological soil.
That is so interesting.
You will not believe, but Kutch also has that.
Really?
Yes. There has been also a lot of scientists from abroad who has come to India to go to Kutch. Kutch University has participated into Kutch has a Mars-like soil. It has the same biology.
What are you saying? I don't know that.
I'm going to also do the research over there. Like we are in process of getting the permits. Yes. We are in process of getting the permits because it's near to the border. So there are a lot of restrictions to do such a research. Yes. So I'm going to stay inside of that habitat. We are going to perform EVA. We are going to grow plants, how it will take in. We will grow in the space. We are going to do 3D printing. Then we also have virtual reality, VR. We have VR for space. Because when astronauts, they go out of the Earth, there is a lot of homesickness. There is a lot of pressure that they have to work under. Because everything changes. Your body acts different. But then it is the astronauts who perform that mission. So you have to keep them safe before everything else. So there is a new thing that is coming up, that is VR for space, that helps them to feel like they are on the Earth and they're living like that. So we have some of the experiments planned. Then we also have remote sensor lighting, circadian lighting system that also help us with our mood.
Aligning with the, I get it. I get the circadian rhythm.
Yes, things like that.
That's so interesting. And when you brought up Kutch, have you heard of the Mohenjo-daro, the civilization? I think it was a whole civilization that was there near Kutch. Like so many people from so many different places, like I've heard that they visited that site, because it's a World Heritage Site.
Yes.
And I've not been there. But now when you say, like, you make this connection, I understand why people, people have come from parts of the world to visit Kutch. And I never got that. So, you know, now I get it. Like, you know, when you make this connection, now I get it. Like, there must be something, some studies, some research going on.
Yes.
And yeah.
ISRO also did the research over there, but it's very private. Like, they don't release everything.
Yeah, these things are very private. Yes. Yeah. And now I get it, because so I believe in this, and I'm sure like you would also have a take on this. I believe in the energy of the place.
Yes.
Do you believe in something like that?
I do, yes.
Okay.
I do believe in energy. I also believe energy from the people.
Yeah.
Like vibes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just vibe with the people, sometimes you just don't, no matter how much you try.
Yeah.
And I think it is the thinking that people have. So when you have a similar thinking, you are on a similar wavelength. When you have the similar wavelength, you kind of vibe together.
Why I bring that up, that energy thing, is because that question has come to me a lot of times, that why do in some places the energy is different, like in some, like, so I feel the energy in Gandhidham very, very good. The energy of that land, I feel it to be very good, you know, because of, there are my reasons and I can feel. And I felt that kind of energy or the similar kind of energy when I was in Milan, in Italy.
Okay.
And then I was talking about it with one of my dad's friend, who was also like a client, like he was like an executive for the company who were our client. And so he also does a lot of like, he researches a lot on Buddhism.
Yes.
And he's a Jain. So I just like, we were just randomly sitting and I just told him that out of all the places I went, Milan had like a really good vibe, like something there, like, you know, I felt the calmness in people there for some reason. I don't know, I can't even describe it in very accurately. Yes. And then he told me some scientific fact about it, about the land of Italy. Like there was something, some ancient thing, I don't even remember.
Yes.
But he said something about the land and I got it, like, you know, like, okay, there must be some scientific thing to it. So now when you brought up that, you know, these experiments or something is done in Kutch, I get like, okay, why that energy is different from everywhere else I've been in, you know, like.
Yes.
So, yeah. Talk to me about, as you said, you know, astronauts go through a lot of physiological changes, right?
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit in detail about that. Like, what are the changes you're looking at, and what are the systems that you develop for them, for the astronauts to do this? Like, apart from the VR and everything that they feel at home, apart from that?
There are psychological, sociological, physiological challenges. There are a lot of different challenges. One of the key challenges, like when you go to space, you start losing your muscle mass.
Yeah.
So you have to keep working out, and also your diet is totally crashed because it's all pre-cooked food. You just have to heat it up, and you have that. You don't have that hot meal, and then I don't know about how body reacts exactly when they are on the Mars, because that is not being tested yet. But I know that in reduced gravity there is a lot of muscle loss. They have to keep working out. Also, when they live for a very longer period of time, they have this vision problems. They can have their vision gone. Vision can be blurry because of the radiation. Because there is also a solar radiation which is very high in space as compared to being on the Earth, because we are protected by the ozone layer where we don't have that. So because of radiation, there are also a lot of problems. For example, they can have a cancer, they can have blood cell problems, white blood cells being reduced, and digestion problems is another thing. So there are a lot of health problems as such.
Yeah.
But I think that now we have the technology that we know what kind of nutrition we have. There's also a space nutritionist. These days there are so many different professions in space. Space is booming right now. Like there are so many missions are planned, and there is now space law, space entrepreneurship, space marketing, space astrobiology, space physiology, space nutritionist. There are so many different fields coming up. And I think that by the time now we are looking forward to be on the lunar base on a longer time, on the Martian base for a longer time. So we would have that backup of how we will sustain.
Because so many people are getting trained in that field.
And also this training equipments are also being advanced. Technology is coming up.
Yeah, that's a good.
We also have this machine learning now. We have this artificial intelligence. Machines are calculating everything for the human body.
Yeah.
This industry is already evolving.
Yeah, you talked about. Have you ever seen this film Martian?
No, I really did not watch that. So many people told me to watch it, but I did not.
I think you should watch it.
Yes, I should have watched that one.
Yeah.
They show everything about, he's like, I think from his poop he's creating the fertilizer and then growing a food with that and surviving.
Yeah. So what happens is, and it's an apt movie for you, and why I say this is because you said that, you're creating mission where they will go and build things from Martian soil, right?
Yes.
So I think that's what is shown in the movie. And I recently rewatched it before coming here,
you did?
I don't know, yeah, it was just there,
wow.
and I rewatched it, and it was still interesting and a little scary, but interesting that he's stranded on Mars, and then how he works his way back, that he grows potatoes, and there are lots of challenges that come. Yes. But it was so interesting to watch that, and I think you will enjoy that movie. You should watch it.
I will tell you something. Just recently, my research paper on the deployment of subsurface systems, it got approved at American Institute of Astronautics and Aeronautics, along with Mars University. So now it's a scientific paper. Anyone who is willing
to read it,
it's a scientific approach. It's not just a blog or something like that. So yeah, we are getting there.
What was the paper about?
It was about what will happen, what you need to carry when you're in SN15, like what Starship should carry when they land on the Mars, how they will start deploying all the infrastructure, and how they will build up the first space habitat.
Okay, and you wrote that paper by yourself?
Yes, but I was with a team of 5. I was the most junior person. We had some scientists. We had 2 scientists into that, and then we had this Mars University's co-founders. So we were 5-6 people coming together and writing about this.
Great.
My field was into space architecture. Their field was engineering analysis.
Right. Talk to me about who are some of your heroes when you look up to space, and also there's one more question I want to ask you. Do you ever want to go to space? Is that a dream, or you just want to design?
Okay, I'll answer your first question.
Okay.
Then I'll go on to second.
Yeah.
My heroes are Elon Musk. I definitely admire him a lot. People find him very crazy, sick.
I love him.
Whatever. But I am super inspired by him because he has literally gone out of his way and he has created this pathway from impossible to possible.
Yeah.
I know he works super hard, he works 80 hours a week. That's not we should look forward to, because you need a work-life balance little bit. But I admire him a lot. Or anytime I am kind of stuck, or anytime I feel low, because my field is also very challenging. People don't really understand at all. It's so even hard to find employees to do your project.
Yeah.
Anyone who you hire, you explain the project, they are they're just scared listening to what they will be working on.
Okay.
So it's so challenging already.
They're scared of you, what she will say
when
now.
I tell them that we are designing for the moon, I will just tell you how you have to model. I'm doing the research, everything. You just model in the computer, just create the model, and they're no, we don't know this. They're just not willing, especially I find this in India, they're not just willing to accept that challenge. They want everything given on the plate. And I'm very fond of that people who are literally push themselves. So one is Elon Musk, and the second is Valentina Terescova.
Okay.
She's a Russian cosmonaut.
Okay.
She went to space at the age of 24. She was not even an astronaut. So
what's a cosmonaut? What's the difference?
Cosmonaut is like a Russian astronaut.
Oh, okay.
Any astronaut in Russia is called cosmonaut.
Okay.
So she went to space at the age of 24. She was alone. Usually the missions are for 2 people, 3 people, 5 people, 6 people. They go in a group.
Yeah.
At that time, she went alone in the spacecraft, and when she was in the orbit, her spacecraft started going away from the Earth's orbit. There was a problem in the programming. It was not programmed to come back to the Earth. It was going away.
Yeah.
She communicated back. She was so she was so full of courage.
She communicated that problem on
back
Earth
without getting hyper tensed or anything.
Yeah.
And she worked on that spacecraft programming by herself, and she brought it back to the Earth. Can you believe that woman?
Yeah.
So it's crazy what people can do. We cannot even, my parents are even afraid to send me from here to some other part of India by train, or by he's so insecure, what will happen to you? And my partner is if you go to gym, don't wear that fit clothes, wear this, wear that. There's so much people are scared of here.
Yeah.
But
you tolerate these people in your life, basically.
Yes.
You put up with them.
I am a person that if you draw a boundary around me, I'm gonna jump that off.
Oh my God.
That moment.
Yeah.
So people like this inspire me a lot.
Yeah.
Now me going to the space, as a child I also dreamed of flying jet aircrafts. I wanted to go into that military. I'm a very sporty person. I have hiked glaciers also.
Oh wow.
Yes.
In Canada?
Yes. When I was in Vancouver, I have hiked glaciers. I love those kind of extreme sports.
Adventure.
So, yes. So I wanted to fly jet aircraft. I still want to. I'm still going to learn whenever I have a chance now. The next 1 to 2 years.
I'm sure you will. I will get a ride from you.
Yes. And I was also selected in career astronaut training program in US this year. But I had to give up on this thing because of my personal reasons. You know, like in India, when you are 24, all your parents want you to do is get married.
Oh my God!
Not
Getting married, going to space.
Don't go for that.
What are the?
Don't risk our life. Don't do these things. Like they start, your mom is like, they start crying.
Oh,
They don't want to do these extreme things. And then they are like, this is the one thing that I'm asking from you. Just don't do this thing. Just one thing. You do everything else. Just
but
don't
get
do
married.
Space training.
Oh.
Yes, like don't do, what will happen, who will marry you, what will happen to you, what if something happens, what we will do, we don't have anyone. They bring so many things.
You don't have a sibling?
I have, but I am a girl. Like, so my dad is like, so they keep on like emotional drama. And my partner also, like I've been dating a guy for like very long time.
Yeah.
He's also like starts with his emotional drama. So this is the one thing that I have given up.
Okay.
But
you're like, I'll do this much for you guys.
I will do this much for you guys.
Okay.
But I'm going to still fulfill that astronaut thing, going through this expedition alone in extreme environment into Arctic and live by myself for 3 months. So I think that is also an equivalent challenge.
Yeah.
So I will.
You're like, you settle in the middle. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because in the end, no matter what, it's your family who is there for you.
Yeah.
In the end, no matter how much you have achieved, when you come home, it's your mom you share your trophy with, it's your dad. And they will never leave you.
Yeah.
So this is, it's in the heart, right?
Who are you? Are you an alien? I'm thinking.
No.
I have not met.
Now you will not judge my age. At your age.
I'm not judging you with your age. I'm just judging you in a way. I'm just looking at you awestruck. I'm literally awestruck. And I'm not boasting, but very few people I get awestruck, you know, like that. And
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very right point that you made, you know, that you get affected by people who are not willing. Because just this morning when I was coming here, I was like, I was just thinking this, that I can work with anybody, I can't work with people who have a bad mindset and attitude.
Yes.
You know, and anything else is forgiven. But you know, if you're not willing, or if you are like, so many people, you know, you're not willing to try or bring a solution, it's frustrating to me as a person. Like, you can do anything, but don't say this can't be done, because people are going to Mars. So here on Earth, anything can be done.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. So talk to me about, like, as you said, you know, your parents and everything, because that's also a good point. Because the other day I was watching this show on Mega Icons, and I was watching about Kalpana Chawla, and the way her dad spoke about her in that episode was so interesting to me, that her father, like, so, you know, only that person can achieve so much, you know, that when their parents or somebody, they can understand that this person can't be tamed, or this person can't be restricted. Yes. You know, and the way your parents also, like, you know, even if they tell you these things, but kind of somewhere I know deep down in their heart, they're proud that you are doing this and everything, right? So now, what advice would you give to someone who has like a unusual dream like you have, which is not conventional? What are some of the skills that you will ask them to learn?
Yes, this is a thing that I am often asked.
Okay.
If you, no matter whatever dream you have, like, first of all, don't listen to people's opinion.
Yeah.
Like, they are not going to do anything for you. They're just going to come, speak and go.
Yeah.
So if you have a dream, faith in it, like pray it, like believe like it's a god, like whatever, you have to keep a faith in it.
Yeah.
Once you have the faith in it, there is always a way out. Like there's always more than one way to climb to the top of the mountain. Always remember that thing. I always remember this thing. This is my motivation line. Number 3 is, if you start, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. Like, there is no turning back then once you start. Once you start, you will lose your friends, you will lose your time, you will lose your resources, you will end up even a beggar one day. You can do, this is a line from, I don't remember, Charles Borowski. He's I think he's a
Bukowski?
German. Yes, I think,
Okay.
yes, sorry, my bad. And I'm very inspired by him. So he has this saying, if you, so go all the way, otherwise don't even start. And there's another thing that if you cannot fly, you run. If you cannot run, you walk. And if you cannot walk, you crawl. But you must keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So these are some of the mantras that I follow for my life. First, believe that it will happen. Visualize that it is going to happen. See the end goal of it, because that is what will inspire you when you are stuck on your way. Then find that pathway to your end goal. Then start walking it. Don't look back. There will be challenges, there will be animals, you will be hunted, whatever it takes happen. Keep walking, keep walking, keep walking, and you will be there. And when you will be there, everyone will start believing in you. And then people will follow you. And then you become a visionary, entrepreneur, that leader.
Right.
So,
very interesting. So believe, have faith.
yes, believing is very important.
Yeah.
Even so, my space architecture till now nobody believes. Like my parents also, they feel like, oh, she's doing whatever she's doing. I show them my awards. Dad, I got this India's youngest space icon architecture.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I show them NASA Lunar Design Award.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I start my own firm, Dad. Okay, they still don't believe what I'm working on. But
Yeah.
I know that in next 50-20 years, I will be there.
Yeah.
It's just that I have to find myself a way that is sustainable. Like
Yeah.
it is a money-making way. And then I can still fund my
Yeah.
space
The
research.
biggest, best thing about you is that when you say believe, don't you believe.
Yes.
Not that other people believe in it also.
No.
Don't put that limitation, but that you believe.
Yes.
So that's a good thing.
Even if the whole world is against your dream,
Yeah.
but if you're strong onto that,
Yeah.
you go for it.
That's what Elon Musk is also doing, right?
Yes.
I'm also a big fan of his. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I've read his autobiography. I love how his brain works, like how he thinks. You know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting.
And there is nothing, it's not that even if we two are sitting here, it's not that either I'm more capable or you're capable. Your capability, your power is in something else. Mine is in something else. Just like everyone who's sitting here, they all have that capability, their own different power into themselves. It's just that you have to recognize that.
Yeah.
And you recognize that power when you are alone.
Yeah.
You don't recognize that power when you are with your friends, with your family. Like when you
Yeah.
are alone, whatever thoughts you are getting, this is your true conversation with yourself. And it is so important to have a conversation with yourself every single day. Every morning I have this, okay, I'll share you a secret.
Yeah.
Secret to my journey.
Yeah.
I have this Stoic app. I'm a big follower of Marcus, Greek philosophy.
It's a white app with this black S.
Yes. Okay. You also have that.
Yeah.
So I have some questions. When I wake up, I journal. I do always a gratitude journal. I'm so thankful for everything in my life. It's challenges, family, everything that is coming, I'm thankful that.
Yeah.
But before sleep, there are some questions. What did you do wrong today? What was this?
Yeah.
Where were you stuck? And that conversation is so important because that will help you to gain more and more clearer path. Our mind is so distracted. And I'll tell you one thing. Your mind is grabbing everything. Everything that you are seeing, everything that you are listening, everything you are reading, everything is going into your mind. Information is going even if you ignore it. So be very precise of what you want to grab in your mind. Don't grab all the garbage. Like even if you are watching something, be precise. It's comedy, it's fun, it's this.
Yeah.
Or whatever is the choice is.
Yeah,
But I'm very conscious of that thing. I am very so conscious that I exactly know where I should put my energy on, who are right people for me, and where I should step away from. I make mistakes in these things, but I just go which is not good for me.
Yeah.
And many people, like I think here also, many people would know that this is not good for them, but they're still not able to get out of that thing. They're attached to that bad thing because it's so comforting. And that when you step out, that's when you change the growth, that's when you change your habit, and that's when you do something amazing. So
Or fear maybe. Not
Yes.
if it's uncomfortable, or fear
Yes.
of anything. Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
that's when change is important.
you know, to be that conscious. When you said that, you know, you are conscious, you can't be conscious if you
bad habits
pollute your body also. Not
very
just your
true.
mind, not just the thoughts, not just the people that you're talking, the net, like, you know, the shows or things that you're watching. Like when some new show comes, everybody wants to watch like this or that or whatever. But only if you eat well, if you don't drink.
I do
smoke.
yoga every morning.
Yeah, and you
every
do
morning.
yoga.
Then I go to gym.
You
I
work
wake
on
up
your
at
breath.
5 and sleep by 10. So schedule is very important.
Yeah.
But I think the real happiness doesn't comes from a thing, any material things or anything. It comes from your own growth. Like for me, it is at least like that. My self growth makes me very happy, and I cannot compromise on that. So I think no one should compromise on their self.
Great. I mean, you have a healthy lifestyle. You do yoga. I was also doing yoga in pandemic. I used to wake up at 5:30.
Oh wow!
Yeah, my yoga
amazing.
teacher used to come home. I've stopped doing it now. I want to start, but I will. Yeah. So I know what that power is, and you know how you feel in the morning and everything. It's a good thing. Yeah. Super. Now we'll move to a little more fun segment, which is called Curious Quick 5.
Okay.
So are you ready?
I'm more than ready.
Always ready.
Yes.
One thing you're curious about, apart from architecture, science, maths, space.
What does it take for people to stay positive? Like, I'm just curious, like, what does it take for you to enjoy life? Like, just take it as a day it comes.
Yeah.
I'm very curious of that.
Yeah.
I'm very curious of people, like, they're so different, like, you just I can never know what's happening in someone's brain. I'm always curious. And in my cases, most of the times people turn out
What?
to be like I'm
Weird?
always being fooled.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just curious, what does it take?
Because you are very straightforward.
Yes, I'm very straightforward. What does it take to be honest? Like, this quality doesn't exist in people. This is like being honest, being like clear, and there's so much love. Thinking around at working places. There is like there's so much of mind politics that happens everywhere in the world. And I'm like, why do we need that? Why can't we just speak up what we feel?
Yeah, I tell that
what
to
we
my
like
friends.
feel in our heart, what we see.
Yeah.
So
I tell that to
and
my
I'm just
friends.
curious, why do we have that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll add one little thing to that is because the other day, like 2 days back, I was watching like.
You watch a lot, huh?
I watch a lot. That's why. But like good stuff, like mindsets and you know people, perspective, things like that. So there's this YouTuber Emma Chamberlain. I don't know if you've seen her.
No.
She's also like one really, you know, interesting person. She had some panic attack or something, and she was talking about that. And I just had this one thought, like about what you just said, that what it takes. And I was just thinking for a second, that people who have anxiety, you know, or a panic attack.
Yes.
Why do you have that? It's because you think that what you think is the fact.
Yes.
That's how it is. And I stepped back and I was like, how arrogant it is to think that. That what I thought, as one person in the world, that is the only truth. And that's why I'm having this panic attack, because that will come true.
Yes.
You know, that's why people have, or it could be biochemical, but then that's a different thing.
Yes.
Biological or, you know, neurological, but I thought about it and I was like, yeah, I mean, that's very arrogant to have that thought. What's the one person you're curious about?
My partner.
Okay, why?
I can never know him. Like, he just speaks so less. Like, I speak 1,000 words and he speak one word, and I'm like, what? What are you thinking? What do you want to do? What do you want to go? I'm so curious about him. I still don't know his hobbies and everything. Like, he just keeps changing. Like, I don't know. I'm so curious, right?
Yeah.
I'm very curious about him.
Is he Indian?
Oh, yes.
Okay. What's the one place you're curious to travel to?
That's a very good question. I think I want to go to Bora Bora.
Okay. Nice.
I have never been to Bora Bora.
Nice.
I want to go to Bora Bora.
What's the one technology that you're curious about? That's your forte, I think.
How machines will behave if they are launched without human beings to space? How will they work?
In space?
Yes. I'm very curious on that, because India was planning to send a robot in space.
Okay.
In their first mission, and that's what I think they've already built up that robot. But because you see these days computer is taking over. There's always a debate, should computers should take over or should human labor should still be there. There's always a very strong debate.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of positives on both the sides and negatives on also both the sides. So I'm kind of in a dilemma. So I'm very curious that what happens when we would have robots, because now every other company is building robots. Like it's so common. Boston Robotics, have you seen? There's so many companies which are so common now.
Yeah.
So they will be doing all of these future activities. So I'm very curious how that will happen.
Yeah. But what they want to send them for specifically? To build?
No, so they will send the robots to space in sometime soon.
For to do what?
To perform all the activities that astronauts is performing, not to risk the life.
Okay, okay.
And more durability.
Okay, okay, okay.
So that is, I'm curious about that technology coming up. This is a talks in right now.
But in the near future, it's going to be.
Yes, because yes.
Okay, okay. What's the one book or author you're curious about?
I know this book. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari.
By Robin Sharma?
Yes, I like that book a lot.
What about that? I'm very intrigued.
Have you read that one?
I will say that later, but first you tell me, what about that book you like?
I like that book that the happiness in life is in simple things, not in the bigger things. Like if you just enjoy this moment, for example, we both sitting here and it's just a beautiful time. We have so many people listening to us. Like which guy would like to hear two girls gossip for an hour? But four
This
are
is not gossip.
Like not gossip, like this is a good talk, like
Yeah.
chat, let's say chat. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I take my words back. 5 people, 5 listening. So
Yeah.
there's such a good time. This is such a simple thing, but there is so much to absorb from it. So in Ahmedabad, especially, there's so much competition between cars, between this, between that,
Yes.
between my friends also. There's so much of competition. People are always running for materialistic things, but they forget that life it can be way more fulfilling in simple things as well. Of course, you should get materialistic things, but that is not something that should be your end goal. Like my parents especially, oh, we have this house, now we want to get that house.
Okay.
Now my brother, I want to get that car. Like they're always thriving for the things. Not for a life.
Experiences.
Yes. So in that Robin Sharma, when he sold the monk, when he sold his Ferrari, when he became a monk, I was very inspired by him. Like it takes courage to give up on something that you are so attached to. I can bet any of us would not give up your phone.
I want to.
Give up on your phone is also a challenge. It's just a simple 50,000 phone, but like you cannot even give up on that.
Yeah.
You cannot even give up on your ring. Like people are so attached to whatever they are wearing right now.
Yeah.
There's so much of attachment to everything.
Yeah.
How are you going to be happy in your life if you're so attached?
Yeah. True, absolutely. Talking about what I felt about it, I read it. So I was in college when I read it, and some friend of mine had recommended, and I was never into reading. I'd never read anything, and I read that book.
Yes.
And I read it. I continued reading it. Not one, it starts with he goes into this courtroom and he gets a heart attack or something.
Yes.
And so I was patient with it. I was reading and I was like, I'm not understanding a word. There comes where, he sees some rose garden and something.
Some saints. And
I was like, what is this? And I stopped it, and since then.
Oh, you did not read the last part?
I've not read
You
it.
should have.
Yeah.
Read that.
Okay, I will try.
That is what is changing. Like that is, the last part is something that is wisdom.
Okay. But in the between, I was like, and since then, if somebody told me also, they're reading Monk, I was like, don't read. It's a crazy book or something. But yeah, that was my experience. And we have reached the end of the podcast. And are there any last thoughts that you want to share? Something, any last emotions, feelings about the conversation?
Yes. I have.
Yeah, tell me.
Shruti, you are doing a very great job because I'm so proud of you that you took this initiative.
You want to make me cry again?
No, but I'm just serious. I'm just being serious.
Okay.
Like I've done a lot of podcasts abroad. I've done few, also TED Talks abroad. But being in Ahmedabad, being invited for this thing, I don't know how old are you, but you look pretty young.
We'll keep it at that.
We'll hide that. Camera, close that. Don't show that.
Yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And we need more women like you who are so self-motivated, so inspired, and don't ever give up on this thing.
Thank you.
That's all I can say.
That's so sweet.
Thank you, everyone.
So, thank you so much for taking the time, and I think we all should clap for you.
I clap for you and everyone.
asked one of our head of departments कि why are you doing zombie willy, like ये English में होनी चाहिए, हिंदी में होनी चाहिए, कितनी अच्छी बनेगी. They're like, you know, this movie is gonna made with Ayushmann Khurrana, but his dates were not available for 3 years.
Oh wow.